welcome to a special edition of Up Close on METV. I'm Charles Clapsaddle, station manager for Manatee Educational Television, and it's my great pleasure to introduce a new program here on METV, Success After 60. And this program is all about you, the baby boomer, what you care about, what you want, what you need to know. This is about your present and your future. This is about the next new phase of your life, about reinventing, rewiring, repurposing, redirecting. This is about redefining retirement. And to join us today will be the host of that program, Miss Vicki Vega. Vicki, thank you so much for joining us today and bringing this new program concept to METV.
Charles, it's my pleasure, and thank you for taking a leap of faith with me as we embark upon this fantastic journey that so many of us are on.
Well, when we talked about developing a program for the baby boomers and about retirement, it was a fascinating idea simply because there are so many people in this area, in this region, who are looking at retirement, who are looking to getting on with the next phase of their life. And your background and expertise and experience can add a great deal to those plans that those individuals are making. So Vicki, before we start talking about the program, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I guess we could start by saying, as my mother would so aptly want me to say if she were here, is I'm a child of the universe. Okay, so keeping that in mind, let's bring it down from the universe to the here and now. Born in Tampa, so I'm a Florida native, one of the few existing in my age group. So I've seen a lot of changes in the area, but one of the things that we know both here as well as globally is that we're getting older. Okay, there's no doubt about it. So we know that globally we're getting older, we know that in our state we're getting older, and we are a mecca for retirees.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we know in our region, in the Suncoast region, that if Florida is a mecca, we are one of the key areas that people are migrating to. So those things keeping in mind, coupled with the fact that the baby boom generation, I mean, those of us born from the middle 40s to the middle 60s, we just represent a huge part of the population, and we are moving through like this gigantic bubble, and here we are right at the center of it. And so given that, and given my own background, which is a combination of media, education, and business, I mean, it just occurred to me, and you know, when did it occur to me? Well, one day, Charles, I woke up and I was in the 10th grade raising my hand, okay, to answer how do you spell a word, and then all of a sudden here I am, you know, a leading edge baby boomer who is basically, like the rest of us, looking for ways to redefine retirement because after all, 40 or 60 is the new 40. So without going any further, let me turn it back to you.
Well, you know, one of the key things, and please, Vicki, tell us more about this, is that, you know, I think you hit the nail on the head. You know, people are living longer. People are retiring, you know, earlier. Some people are retiring a little bit later, which we'll talk about. But there is this great wealth of baby boomers that are in this, developing in this area, have been in this area. How best can we get information to them about the significant opportunities, resources, services that are available to help them redefine their life? And one of the key things I would suggest to you is that, you know, you have this great wealth of experience and background with baby boomers. You know, they've led, you know, fascinating lives. They've worked hard. You know, now they're getting into those retirement years, and they want to do more. Not necessarily work at their job that they've had, but they want to do more. And I think one of the concepts is that there's so much opportunities out there for baby boomers and those retirees to take advantage of.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think we have been planners all of our lives. And we have set goals all of our lives. And so many times people get to the point of retirement and they go, wow, you know, this is great. I can kick back and I can do whatever it is I've always wanted to do for the rest of my life. And, you know, stories abound with people who say, oh my gosh, I thought I wanted to play golf for the rest of my life. Okay, and 6 months later, he or she bounds out of bed and says, oh no, I have to play golf again, okay? So we don't want to be that person, okay? I ran into another person, another story, and this is just the opposite, and I think this is the person I want to be. I ran into her at a local YMCA, and she said, I just can't wait to be 70. And I said, oh, wow, okay, so why is that? And she says, well, I'm 69. And I have, since I retired, she was working in the Manatee school system as an educator, art teacher for many, many years. And she says, well, as I retired, I decided, what am I going to do? Right. Okay, I've been of service for my entire life. I need a little bit of break from that right now, and I have to concentrate on me. Of course, we're the me generation anyway, so it's not unusual. So she said, okay, so I have become a half marathon runner.
No kidding.
And to that point, my next marathon is coming up. She said, but the age group is between 60 and 69. I'm still 69. And so when I turn 70, I'm going to have a better chance of winning.
There you go.
Okay, well, she's not going to be running half marathons all day, every day.
Sure.
That's one of the things she's going to be doing. I would suspect that if I were to have a further conversation with this woman, that she would say, okay, I may be going to be mentoring now.
Exactly.
Right? I'm going to come back. And what are my opportunities for that? Well, she may know them, having been in the system for a while.
Very much so. And I think, you know, people, when they find something that's of interest or something that really is important in their lives, it becomes another reason for them to become engaged and involved as they move into their retirement years. And one of the key things, too, and Vicki, I'd like for you to talk about, is there's so many elements that are important as one moves past 60. There's, you know, financial things,
right,
medical issues, there's opportunities, volunteering, there's community service. All of these many facets of a community are out there, but you want those individuals to know that there are resources that are available.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where your program is going to be invaluable, to talk about, you know, the many myriad different things that are available to people as they move past 60. Absolutely,
because if we can inform people and we can help inspire them, I think we have to inspire ourselves.
Sure.
But first and foremost, there's an obsession with health, and understandably so, because, you know, you get to the point where you've been giving and giving and giving and doing and doing and doing, and all of a sudden, you know, you look at your body, mind, and spirit, and you say, okay, need to pause. Right. Maybe there's a red flag that goes up. You know, maybe there's a surgery, maybe there's a disease, or maybe there is just, wow, where is my energy gone? Right. Okay? So health, first and foremost.
Health, fitness, nutrition, all of those play an important, as the body ages, and,
right,
and it's a healthy generation, I think, if you look at it. But there's so many things that, you know, whether it's joint pain or something that's one to put on, blood pressure, whatever the case may be, there are remedies and courses of action that one can take to lead a long and healthy life. And I think that's going to be a critical component of your future program.
Absolutely. So we talk in terms of body, mind, and spirit health. We talk in terms of financial health. And I think newly retirees probably are most concerned, okay, when they actually take the plunge and they go, well, you know, I really don't know how long I'm going to live. If I work on my health, I might live another 20, maybe 30 years.
Sure.
And if I'm in good health, then I won't deplete my finances so much. And then maybe I can travel, Maybe I can leave a legacy to my family and to the community. Okay, so the financial picture is very important.
Critical.
How, you know, hopefully you've amassed it by now, but if not, how do you amass some more money so that you can continue? How do you use it? Okay, meaning, do you save it? Do you invest it? Do you give it away? Or you know, do you use it just for pleasure?
And you know, that's an important point, and that's a component I hope that, you know, in future programs you'll be able to discuss, is, you know, how to plan, you know, for your years in a variety of ways. Might be downsizing.
Exactly.
From a house that you're an empty nester, you know, to some place that's more convenient for you. And if there's issues, do you need to have a facility that you're going to be involved in? So those are all components, I think, that are really important to discuss as people move into their years of retirement, post-retirement. So let me ask you this: if with all these, you know, resources that are out there within a community, you know, you're going to be bringing guests in that are experts in their field in a variety of different areas, and talk to them and get their insight, how people can perhaps use, you know, whether it's a financial planner, whether it's a nutritionist, whether it's medical personnel, to talk about areas of interest that are specifically related to that generation.
Absolutely. We'll be doing that, and we'll be also examining lifestyles, okay? Because once you've dealt with, you know, it's kind of, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You remember the inverted pyramid, where at the very bottom is basically your security, your safety and security, and are you getting your meals, et cetera, and so forth. And then as you climb up that, you get to that, what they call self-actualization, which is really, okay, now you are you, and you are fabulous, and what are you going to do with this fabulous you, okay? And hopefully we're going to be doing some sharing, okay? And, you know, that's where we get into what so many people have the capacity to do and be. You know, I have always been a proponent of the human potential movement. Exactly. Which is basically, we all can be more than what we are.
And I agree with you, and I think that's an important part of it. You know, most people, not everyone, but most people, you know, they work hard their life, they're raising their families, and, you know, as they move into their retirement years, what they really like to do is perhaps that there's an area of interest or something that they really want to dedicate some time and effort to. And I think you'll be able to bring people who have actually realized that. You know, perhaps it was somebody who's now become an artist or a writer or something, or they're working with animals or whatever the case might be, and how they've taken that avocation and made it into something that's really good for them.
Sure, Charles, we have begun to do that at successafter60.com. We have about 20 blogs posted, or about 20 posts on that blog, and many of these address topics of interest, as we've been talking about, but they also address people of interest who have achieved a level of success. And so the question that I ask them is, all right, you're over 60, what is success? Is it the same to you now as it was when you were in your 20s, 30s, or 40s? Is it different? How do you measure it? How does it relate to happiness? How does it relate to peace? How does it relate to your life plan? What are your goals now?
And I think that's wonderful. If you have the opportunity to bring some of those individuals and talk with them, how do they achieve that? How do they balance their life, family, and everything with what they want to do for the remainder of their life, which I think is a wonderful thing, because that can serve as a kind of a template for other people to say, hey, listen, if that guy can do it, or that young lady can do it, I can do it as well, and I want to try to do that. But I think that's an important aspect of it as well. And I hope, and I think, you know, you've mentioned this, is, you know, we want to talk about the medical component as well. Education components. Maybe it's something that you've always wanted to go back and you know, learn a little bit more about, you know, whatever the course might be, is that there's millions of education opportunities right in this area.
Absolutely.
You know, whether it's from the University of South Florida or State College of Florida or some of the great educational institutions around here. So that's another whole component of enriching people's lives.
Absolutely. Enriching people's lives from a standpoint of being a lifelong learner.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the characteristics that research has shown, you know, people that are most successful and happiest in any age group are the learners, or people who can adapt.
Sure.
People who are positive,
Very much so.
people who continue to develop their interests and or skills. And so, you know, I come from a family of educators, and I have to say that I'm really grateful for the background opportunity and the perspective that it's given me to continue to reach out and to explore. To me, that's a big word, explore.
Right.
I think we have to be explorers, and I think we have to help each other and guide each other and others as well.
And I think that's a really excellent point, Vicki, that you made, is that, you know, there's this wide network of individuals, organizations that are out there that are more than willing and eager to help individuals be part of a wider thing. To have them come in, whether it's working with the lifelong learners or whether it's working with the community-based organizations, there's organizations that want the involvement of individuals that are in their retirement years.
Absolutely. I think it's so critical both for our community as well as for the individual retiree within the community. And again, I'm going to say, I'm going to obliterate the word retire from my vocabulary because I really think we've come to the point, because of longevity, because of finances for many.
And health.
And health and all these reasons. If we're going to be living, you know, another 30 years after traditional retirement, we're going to have to, I mean, somebody is going to have to change our policies, somebody is going to have to change our viewpoint, but I'm going to start from within and encourage people to do the same, because, you know, if you want to change the world, you start with changing yourself and your perspective.
And I think it's a very interesting point that you just made. And this is in transition. People are living longer, they're living healthier lives, they have more opportunities. You know, for the most part, they're more financially secure. So this is in transition. You know, 20, 30 years ago, you know, you retired at 60, you know, life expectancy was relatively less than it is now. So there is a shift going on, and there's going to be a tremendous population of people that are living into their 80s and 90s and they're living full and enriched lives, and that's important. And one of the other things I'd like for you to take a moment, if we could, is about those opportunities that are throughout the community for people to become involved and engaged with. You know, volunteering. There's hundreds, literally hundreds of nonprofit organizations, service providers that are out there who would more than welcome the expertise and the kind of background and experience that a baby boomer would bring. You know, anything from any specific area, if you want to work with animals or children or the elderly, there's a wide variety of opportunities that are out there. And I hope you have, you know, people on throughout your series that are going to be talking about some of these wonderful opportunities.
We absolutely will. And I think what's so wonderful, and I would encourage these folks and any of the folks that are out there watching this show to please drop me a line. Go to successafter60.com, okay, and contact me with your ideas, your interests, your suggestions for programming,
or maybe even a story idea.
Or exactly, a story idea. And you know, with respect to the volunteer opportunities and the opportunities to assist and to be part of our charitable efforts, fortunately, we're in a technological revolution.
Sure.
And fortunately, I'm proud to say that our baby boomers seem to be in mass taking advantage of the opportunities to access information online. That's why I got the idea to create this online community.
That's an excellent idea. So, it really is. It kind of ties people together.
So that we can have conversations that we may have not been able to have before with one another in our community, as well as globally, because we have so much to learn there and so much to share.
Well, one of the things too that, you know, and I'd like for you to talk a little bit about this, is that Sarasota, Manatee area, growing populations. People are moving here, populations are going to be increased. I think I saw something not too long ago, but that by 2020, you know, it's an increase of another 100,000. So, and that's not that far away.
Right.
So you're looking at a great increase in population. With that being said, there has to be service providers, resources that are going to be available and to provide services to that population. And I think that's a really important thing to do, whether it's in terms of health providers or education providers. One has to be able to devise programs that are reaching that population.
Right. So here, innovation becomes important. Change becomes important. Maybe consolidation of resources down the road, perhaps, and also new resources that have yet to be developed. So we have to stay ahead of the curve, okay? And you know, as my blog addresses, there's some people in our age group who are inventing at this moment, who have invented, who are continuing to work at it, and who haven't necessarily passed the baton to the next generation and bowed out. So I think the challenge here is to be part of the solution, not to just sit back and say, well, back in the day, we didn't have these problems,
that's true.
right? And now it's up to the next generation to resolve it. Well, you know, if you're going to be around here another 20 or 30 years, again, let's participate.
And you know, that's a very important point. If you know, I can expand upon that, because you know, if there's a population and that demographic continues to grow, they can have influence. They can have influence, you know, on a wide variety of things that are important to the community, whether it's transportation needs or education requirements or anything. But that population, that entire demographic, can continue to have an influence on the way things develop.
Absolutely. And you know, my thought here, Charles, as you were speaking, is how important it is for boomers to connect with other generations as well.
Sure, and I think that's an important thing. You know, everybody's talking about the millennials now, and you know, and well, they should be. I mean, there's the important part of the population, but you know, they're not an island. They have to interact with and connect to, you know, that baby boomer generation. And I think that's an important point that you made, Vicki, is that there has to be an interconnect.
Absolutely. You know, as a matter of fact, with the blog, Success After 60, I am partnering with millennials who are experts in the technology, as well as search engine optimization, which once we get our content refined, it's going to be really important to grow an audience. So who knows better than the digital generation?
Exactly.
But at the same time, we have the message.
And you have the content.
Well, we have the content.
The content is, you know, I mean, it's rich, it's varied, it's in depth, that there's a lot of experience. So I like that kind of analogy that you made, that yes, you have the skills and the expertise to do this, but we have this rich, deep content, and perhaps, you know, there's that kind of connectivity. But as time kind of winds down here a little bit, Vicki, I want to spend a few moments on the bigger picture here. What do you want people to take away from these programs? It's going to be rich kind of guest list, and it's going to be a variety of different things. But at the end of it, what do you want people to take away from these programs?
All right, so if we inform, if we inspire, if we connect, I would like people to build community and take action. Take action collectively or take action individually. Okay, and that's the bottom line: is be part of the solution, and don't complain.
and that's very well put. I think that's extraordinarily well put. Is simply because, you know, if you want to take, you know, charge of it, you have to take charge of it. whether it's from a health perspective or financial perspective or educational opportunity or community involvement, you have to engage.
Individual responsibility.
And there's people and resources out there that will help you do that as you move forward.
Phenomenally.
And a lot of different things. Now, you know, as you're going to be becoming the host of Success After 60 and subsequent programs, you know, give us very quickly kind of a list of those types of programs that people can look forward to.
Well, we talked about health. We talked about the components of health: physical, mental, spiritual. Those could be 3 programs right there. All right. We talked about finances. In terms of finances is how to acquire it if you're still in the acquisition mode. And since we don't know how long we're going to live, maybe you're going to need a part-time job. Maybe you're going to need to go back full-time for a while. Maybe you need the skills, okay?
Maybe you need to work a little bit longer before you retire.
Exactly. All right, so there's the finances is how do you acquire it? Then, you know, basically how do you preserve it? Okay, or how do you grow it? Okay, so we're going to maybe be talking about investment opportunities and how to be savvy, how not to be a sucker, okay? And then basically how to share the finances, okay? Who to leave it to, or you know, make a plan. Your family, your community, these organizations that are so near and dear to your heart. Okay, so you've got that. And then lifestyle, as we mentioned. Okay, maybe it's time to downsize and declutter. Okay, maybe it's time to just travel. And you know, your bucket list, let's make that list. Let's make a plan for it. All right, and basically, maybe you get a little serious at that point once you've taken care of your health and your finances. Let's look in terms of redefining your purpose and reinventing yourself and redefining success. And where do you go from here? And that's where there's so many organizations that are here to help you make a life plan.
Well, Vicki, this sounds like a really fascinating series of programs, and we're very glad that you're going to be able here, you know, to help develop those and, you know, bring it in. And we look forward to the next program that you're going to be bringing to us. First of all, I think it's a very important subject matter with the growing population here and that, you know, growing population of baby boomers. It's very important to provide that kind of information and outreach and insight into how people can live full, rich, and rewarding lives.
Thank you, Charles. It's my pleasure. I look forward to working with you and to hearing from our viewers what their ideas and interests are at successafter60.com.
We're going to put that up on the screen right now, so if people have an idea and they want to write to you and say, listen, Vicki, you know, I have this. What perhaps, you know, could you develop a program on that? We'll look forward to seeing you as the host of the new program on METV called Success After 60.
Thank you, Charles.
In the words of Helen Keller, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Join pioneering baby boomers like you who are reinventing retirement and redefining success. Become part of the conversation. Broaden all of our perspectives as we rewire together. Build a community and have some fun on your voyage. Contact Vicki at www.successafter60.com. Successafter60.com with your insights. Until you meet again, thank you for joining us on this edition of Up Close on METV. And we'll just shake hands for a minute.